Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? It's John, the firearms instructor. It is Tuesday night accuracy hour, and tonight is going to be a good night for us. Before we get started, I'd like to do a little info commercial about our dry fire inserts. Dry fire inserts are available through our YouTube channel, through our Facebook page, and through our handgun training system thing. Here is a QR code up top here. If you haven't seen one of them, what they do is they insert into a 9mm magazine of all the popular 9mm Glock, Smith, Taurus, Ruger, whether it's single stack, double stack, or hybrid like the shields and the equalizers, and it will stop it from preventing it from going to slide lock, which will allow you to dry fire with ease and get more comfortable. We all know when you dry fire, that's when accuracy starts. When you start understanding the trigger press and everything else like that, it makes a big difference. We've had a great week of selling these. They're being in people's mailboxes as we speak, and we're getting back feedback from everybody saying that they're the best thing since sliced pie. I'm not sure. I like pie better than I think I like a bullet insert, but hey, I'm not telling you that. The customers are telling you that. So if you get an opportunity to pick one of these up, you will not be sorry. Pick up your HTS dry fire bullet insert at your local areas here. If you're local to the store, you can always pick them up there too. We actually have them in the store. That's the end of the commercial. And we are going to go change that barcode up top there. I'll put it back up a little bit there. The one you see right now is for the HTS system. If you are just crawling out from under a rock and don't know about the HTS system, it's called the handgun training system. It is a system that allows you to become more proficient with a pistol and works with me throughout the weeks. We have a Monday night call with the HTS guys, and then we have these Tuesday night calls. You know how this works. If you're here tonight, the very first time you've ever been here, you can always comment and let us know. We look and see all of our comments while we're doing this thing. And then each week we come up with a topic or anything else like that, and we try to help you become more proficient with a pistol. A lot of our HTSers that are a part of our team are coming on to the YouTube channel. Been doing the YouTube live a long time. Changed it to the HTS Accuracy Hour about 6 months ago when we started the HTS stuff. HTS has been out almost 2 years, but we just started the school community, and that school community gives people the ability to get drills, techniques, homework, and comments from me. We have 2 or 3 different, I guess we call them 3 different memberships. We have the free membership, which gets you pretty much everything except little fine things that the VIP and the premium get. The premium is $50 a year, and the VIP is $270 a year, which you could do the VIP monthly at $28. And the 28 gets a lot of different stuff. There are no paywalls with the 28. Everything that's open up in the HTS system is yours, and you can do it. And it does just support me. I mean, we have put my heart, my mind, my soul, my body into the HTS stuff, and it is making people more accurate. So let's go to the comments, see who we have here this evening. All right, James Russell, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you very much. Guppy, as always, my friend. And D. Marshall, thank you. We talk to people all over the United States and the world while we're doing this. The HTS right now has 390 signed up people right now. We're going to get to probably 400 tomorrow. And we'll do a big announcement for you and everything else like that. If you want to get into the HTS system, it's free for your access, and you get the 4-week masterclass absolutely free. All you got to do is hit that QR code that's up top there, and that gets you free access. That gets you a free ebook, and they get you the 4-week masterclass, master your handgun in 4 weeks, all for No, 00, free. That's kind of cool. I got some swag on. If you haven't seen one of these swag shirts, they're actually available on our website as well. And this is members of the HTS system. We have hats, t-shirts, things like that as well. Got something new coming out. You guys have not seen this yet, but this is a 9mm loader. They're coming off the presses right now. When I say presses, I mean my unit that we print these on, and we print this. This works on all 9mm. It comes in a beautiful blue, and it comes in a red. I'm releasing a video here in about a day and a half. We're finalizing how we're going to ship these stupid things because they weigh next to nothing, but we want to have tracking on them. We did the HTS inserts. We just did them the cheapest way we could. And even at that, it was a couple bucks to ship the stupid thing, which takes away from any profit we try to make on the stupid things. So, it's part of the deal. But it's not about getting rich. It's about getting something that's going to work. If you can push down, you can load a magazine. It's going to save your thumbs. It's going to save you things. Sort of on the feature of a Glock one, but we've kind of worked it out a little bit better and made it better. Hey, Phil, so how you doing, Phil? Phil, this is that thing I was telling you about, that loader last night. They're coming out. The 3 different colors. We won't do this blue and red one here. It's just there's no reason to, but it's out. It's got a logo. Magmate. HTS Magmate is what that's called. And it works on all 9mm. Good evening, John Darby. Thank you very much for being here. It works on all popular 9mm that are out there. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you saying that. Well, with tax time being around here, I thought I'd kind of have a fun one, and we would do what's called an accuracy audit night. We're going to look at some issues I see most of the time when I'm walking back and forth, checking out the range, what audits I can do for a new student or a student who's been shooting a while to help them understand what they're doing wrong. And this is kind of one of those things we always talk about. It's pretty easy to go to the range. It's pretty hard to identify what you're doing wrong. And the more we can identify what we're doing wrong, the easier we can solve it. So most shooters think they miss because they just suck, but that's not true. Most of them have real problems. It is a common thing, 10 common things that most people have. And one of them or 2 of them together really kills our accuracy. So we're going to cover tonight grip breakdown. We're going to cover trigger freeze. We're going to cover anticipation and flinching. We're going to cover speed before control, no follow through, poor trigger placement, no range plan, and a little bit more. This isn't about blaming your gun, guys. Technically, when you see the guy in the lane 4 looking at his pistol like there's something wrong with the sights, it's normally not the gun, guys. It's actually the person behind the gun. It's actually, you know what it is? It's actually this thing between our 2 ears. That's what normally causes a lot of the inaccuracy issues. Building up anticipation, not understanding what's causing it. So this isn't about blaming your gun. This is about fixing the shooter. If you're serious about tightening your groups and not wasting ammo anymore, this live is for you. You want real feedback from any of your targets. That's what the HTS system's all about. We actually have a group of 390 shooters who go to the range. We got people at the range almost every day of the week, and they're turning in their targets and letting the group help you identify what you're doing wrong. It's challenging to keep all the balls in the air at the same time. I talk to students all the time about we're juggling at the range. We're juggling safety. That can never fall. That is the one ball that has to stay in the air the whole time. The rest of them can fall and they can bobble and we can drop them, but we cannot drop safety. So what we want to do is we want to identify each and every little thing that I think you could visually see or feel. I talked to a student last night in the live and he was telling me having problems with identifying uh, the proper amount of pressure to put on the firearm, and I could see where that could happen. But we got down to the basics of it. He was trying to over muscle the gun from the very beginning, which was fatiguing him at the end. So here's my little trick for you. I want you to squeeze the firearm in both hands equally. And then I want you to give me as much power as you can with both hands prior to the shot to the point of tremor. Then I want you to set it down, rest your arms for about 2 minutes, and then I want you to go back and grip it the same. But now what I want you to do is back off on your dominant hand about 20%. You should be there. You should be there because if you kept your grip going with the non-dominant hand and you backed off 20% on the dominant hand, you should be at that 60-40 grip. It's going to help us tremendously. That helps us start things. But realistically, most people try to grab a gun with their hands. Remember we talked about if you were to drive with your chest muscles, gentlemen, and you put your hands in this position, and then you squeeze your pecs together, roll your thumbs together, you'll feel your pecs kick in. And when your pecs kick in, that's a percentage of power that you're going to get from the front side to the back side of the firearm. And then your hands come from right to left. And then we need to make sure we're not over torquing with our dominant hand, or that's going to cause it to go off to the right. And we don't want to under torque it with the left because that's going to cause it to go to the left. So there's a little tiny things we can do. But if you sit in your targets, take pictures of them, sit in them in the group, we're all going to identify some of the issues you're having, and we could probably help you tremendously. But just seeing impacts of targets, impacts of bullets, excuse me. So tonight, we're going to cover the accuracy audit night. And this is kind of fun because last night we had, which we're going to do in this day or two because it was really successful last night. Next week, here's your deal. Next week, mark your calendar. Next week is Q&A week. You are going to be able to ask any question you like about accuracy or about it. I don't have the lottery number, so don't ask me that. But if I had them, I would probably. I don't even play the lottery. To be honest with you, I don't think I bought a ticket all last year. I don't buy tickets. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but I just don't. I work hard for my money. I don't like to spend it on something that's a guess. So no, next week's group class, next week's live, we're gonna do a Q&A as well. Just answer any questions you guys got. You can put it on there and we can go through it. Most shooters think they missed because of bad sights. Today, and I'm going to show you real reasons. Then we're going to diagnose 10 of the most common accuracy mistakes. I promise you, you're doing at least one of these, probably a lot of them. And if you are, tell me tonight that's it. That's the one. That's the one I'm doing. Can you please try to help me with this? We'll call them accuracy violations tonight. If you think you are having one of these violations, you could just put the word B-U-Z-Z, buzz, like you're buzzing your button there, or raise your hand or something to let us know, hey, that's me kind of deal, because everyone sees somewhat of the stuff here. So number one is weak support hand grip. Low hand pressure. This is the real problem when you actually got your hands anywhere but directly across from each other. I see a lot of people who drift their non-dominant hand a little lower than it should be. You're not directly on the trigger well. You got a little bit of gappiness. Any kind of gappiness or any kind of not putting complete control of the pistol. We want to fix this as much as possible because it really causes a lot of muzzle movement. When we have gapping on our support hand and our dominant hand and our non-dominant hand, if we can see firearm around or we see gaps in the grip, then that's where the weakness is going to come from. And that's where the power you're going to lose is going to go through those gappiness. It's very hard to carry water. Hey, what's happening? What's happening there? B-Rad. It's very hard for anybody to carry a bucket of water across a large area with big holes in the bucket. It's just not going to work. You're going to not get it all there. So what I'd recommend is that you patch the bucket up. And the only way to patch a bucket up is to know where the holes are to begin with. So here we go with this terminology of we got to see what's going on. But taking pictures, watching videos, have someone videotape you and your grip. If you see any firearm between your grip or between gappiness in your grip, this is going to cause a lot of issues that will cause accuracy issues. Okay, I got a question for you. It's from B-Rad. For a right-handed shooter, what's a typical cause of high shots? Some of my rounds are hitting around 11 o'clock area. High shots are you focusing on your front post only and not focusing on your back post. That's the only way you can shoot high. That means the gun is at this angle, my friend. And the more the gun's at a high angle, you have to physically. Charlie the Bauer, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate you very much. You still have not come by, and I want to see you, bud. So stop by and see Jacob and I. We would love to see you, pal. A good friend of my son's, went to high school with, did the gun shows with us for a while. His father was a great man, passed away, and Charlie is a good kid. So we miss you, Charlie. Come by and see us. So with B-Rod, what the problem is you need to focus on your front post and your back post. If I told you about 6 o'clock hold, you still have to have the weapon level. And this is very important because sights really mean absolutely nothing for us unless they are one's high and one's low. If you think about a sight system, it's the top of your front post and the top of your back post have to be level. And I would almost bet you in that scenario, you are dipping your head to the weapon instead of bringing the gun up in your line of sight. So I would work on trying to make sure I see front sight, back sight, and keep the weapon level as much as possible. Because at the end of it, if it's hitting high, that's a good thing because you're not really jerking the trigger too much if they're always going there. But I will, hey, yo, what's up, Bruce? I would tell you that you want to make sure that the front post and back posts are level, and you have both front and back posts together, so you don't have what you're seeing. If you imagine these are the two back posts and this is your front post, you've got the gun just a tad high. Your sights are a little tad high, and that's going to cause. That is yeah, you caught the live stream. There we go. I'm glad you're here, pal. I really am. Jessica Brown, I was talking bad about you last night at the. No, I was talking good about you, Jessica. I was telling how supportive the system has done affect you, and you, ma'am, are running the gun now. Jessica is one of our HTSers, and she showed a couple targets from a couple weeks ago, and she showed a target last week, and she is succeeding, and I'm proud of you, sweetheart. So here's the fix. Get that 60-40 grip. The dominant hand's about 40, support hand's about 60. Crush your hands inward with your palms, not your fingers. This is key. We don't grip a gun here. We grip a gun here. And that's kind of one of those deals. Gentlemen, hands out in front of you. Close your hands up. Squeeze your hands together like you're trying to push one from the other. You'll feel your pecs kick in. That's where your squeeze there. That's where the squeeze in. And then wrap your hands forward and run your thumbs forward and backwards like that. You're going to control the pistol. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with you. All you got to do is push the firearm out and pull the firearm, pull this hand back. If you're right-handed, right hand out, backhand back, your back muscles will kick in and you will control the pistol. Majority of women have been told for years and years, just hold on to it, honey. Well, that ain't going to work, because the more you're not comfortable, the more it's going to cause you problems. Women can do anything a man can do when it comes to shooting, probably better than a man. Miss Johnson's a phenomenal shot because she takes her time and she does it. Really, I find that women are a little intimidated by it at first, but once they get it, it becomes an addictive thing for them. And they're harder on themselves than most men. You know, they don't like to miss at all. So I will tell you that push and pull will make a difference, and you'll use your back muscles. We still got to lock our wrist out and get that booty out, ladies. Get that nose over that toes. And gentlemen, you too. You got to get that nose over the toes. You can't have 1 foot forward or 1 foot back, or you're going to have a real inaccuracy balance thing there. It's going to cause problems for us. So check out our YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos on there if you haven't been there. I'm John, the firearms instructor on YouTube. Most of you guys are watching this from YouTube. Speaking of that, if you're on YouTube, check down and make sure you are subscribed, because a lot of people get unsubscribed for some reason. I don't know how that happens. I'm sure nobody's doing that on purpose, but sometimes people miss it. So make sure you hit the bell icon, the like, and the subscribe button. And every time we upload a video just like this one, you'll be the next to know. That's number one. Number two is, I know I see comments coming through like Bruce Cook and stuff like that. We'll look at those after we get through the presentation. Thank you very much. Hey, Kurt Richards from New Jersey, one of my heroes. How you doing, buddy? I'm glad you're here, my friend. Thank you for the nice comments you were making the other day on the live. I appreciate that very much. I saw that your range was down for maintenance. Don't worry about that. You come on down. You can shoot with us, and it'll be for free. Be what 24-hour road trip, but come on down, my friend. I'd love to have you. Dry fire to solve a lot of the issues we can't support is you could dry fire while increasing your support hand tension, and this will help you tremendously. The dry fire inserts are a great thing, but you still have to know what a shitty trigger pull is. So when we talk about dry firing, I want your first 10 dry fires to be the crappiest dry fires you ever did in your life. And then as we get further along, they're going to get better and better and better. And that's kind of help us understand that trigger travel as best we can. Number two is breaking your wrist. A lot of students, they get the gun out in front of them and then they tip their wrist to aim the pistol. Well, the problem is if you're driving the gun properly and controlling the gun properly, how can you break your wrist? You can't. So you're not really, if you lock your thumbs out, if you take your thumb and you put it out just like that, and you put your other thumb right underneath it, how the hell could you can't turn your wrist anymore. The problem is when you take your thumb and put it up in the air and bring your other thumb around this, you know who you are. You know who you are doing the thumb up like that. You're it's called thumbing, and you're thumbing the gun to the right just a little bit. On top of that, you're able to move your wrist at a big angle, and this causes a lot of issues for us. So we don't want to bend our wrist. You want to lock your wrist forward. And the easiest way to get you to do that is take that non-dominant thumb, right, and just point it towards the target, just like that. Just like that. Now, if you have that thumb pointed like that, I want you to try to bend your wrist. You can't bend your wrist. This is going to lock down that gun and keep it from muzzle flipping. Now, I have bad wrists. I put corn in the feeder many years ago and fell off a ladder and broke my wrist. and it's caused me a lot of pain to do that. So I don't do it that deep, but the more you can index your trigger finger and your thumbs towards the target, the more your wrist will be locked out. And the more they're locked out, the easier it's going to be. So we're looking at sort of the knuckle towards the target. And the more we can knuckle towards the target, you can focus on zero muzzle flip. And the less muzzle flip we have, the more accuracy we will have. And this is one of those things that you had to visually see it. This is kind of the cool thing. When we do students at the shop, I get my phone out. I get their phone out and I videotape them and watching them try to figure out what eye to use and try to, they're bending their wrist and they could be right-handed, left eye dominant, or left-handed, right eye dominant, and it causes so much inaccuracies because they're trying to focus on everything at one time. So I think it's imperative that we try to get a couple things solved, but breaking your wrist is going to be a real issue for us because it's going to, once we get a decent grip and a wrist that's locked out, these start solving a lot of the issues. So when we get down to putting a decent trigger press together, we've got an accurate piece of equipment that we can kind of work on tightening our groups up. I've never asked any of you to be bullseye shooters. I asked you to be confident shooters. If I put a 6-inch paper plate out at 21 feet, you should not hesitate to hit all 5 shots in the center of the paper plate, not at 6 o'clock, not at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, definitely not 11 o'clock there. We're at 11 o'clock. We're not. The challenge is with consistent point of aim, accuracy starts tightening up. That's what front sight focus is all about. But we got bad guys don't walk around with a dot on their chest. So we need to really work on of consistently finding that same spot over and over and over again. Okay. Bruce Cook, I do a ton of dry firing at home. I'm also lucky I have a membership at my local indoor range. That's only a 3-minute drive from my house. Beautiful, brother. That's awesome, kid. That is good. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Get the time out there, get the membership done. All right. My pistol skill went from 0 to hero. In the last year, I took a pistol seriously. That's good. That's what you got to do. It's nothing for me to keep small groups at distances, even in iron sights per year. 5-inch group. Beautiful. Perfect. Awesome. That's good, Bruce. Thank you. All right. Number 3 is trigger slap. We all are guilty of it. We've all done it before. It's part of that deal. The problem is jerking the trigger under speed. I feel that a lot of students don't understand the manipulation of trigger press causes so much problems for us. I think more than anything, it's the internal monster telling you to hurry the hell up. Let's get the hell out of this range. I don't want to be here, which causes a lot of our issues for us. Jerking the trigger under speed just causes the front post to be elevated a little bit or under elevated or to the left or to the right. So those that are on here that are guilty of getting 2 good shots and 3 bad shots, it's most likely because you're rushing to empty or speeding through the shots. One of the greatest things I can tell you that if you really want to think about this more than anything, the trigger only goes forward and backwards. It really does, Buzz. Buzz. It really goes only forward and backwards. Now, we can manipulate it by putting too much finger in the gun. There are a couple little tips you can do. Dennis Marshall, he uses a rubber band around his finger. That's where I got it from. And then Kurt Richards stole it, and I have to give Dennis his credit. But when you actually put the rubber band on your finger, it kind of makes a speed bump to keep your finger from traveling in. We need to remember that the trigger finger is just for manipulating the pistol, the trigger, not for holding on to the gun. Really, the trigger fingers, it's hard. It's hard to move your trigger finger and not other parts of your hand. So we need to really work on getting that trigger back nice and slow. The fix is that we want to try to push it straight back. I showed you before when you take a pen and just click it like this, and you click it slower, and it's always going to go down. But the moment you put your crease in there, that pen starts rolling off to the side, and that could cause a little bit of manipulation. So, one of the drills I'll give you that'll help you tremendously is the 5-second pause drill. Um, you can do this a lot of different ways, but I recommend you take a shot, you count to 5, then you find your stay on the gun. Just stay it up there. It's up in front of you. Don't move the firearm. Keep it over your line of sight as best you can, and give yourself a 5-shot pause. 1 shot, 5 pause. 1 shot, 5 pause. 1 shot, 5 pause. You will fight yourself tooth and nail to shoot faster than 5. And those are the guys that kind of get the 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4, 5, and you rush to the empty. That causes a lot of the slappiness to happen, right? You can shoot the pistol fast with a reset as long as you know what you're doing. But the problem is we start slapping, we start manipulating. And the more we manipulate, the more accuracy goes the way. So that 5 shot, 5 pause, 5-second pause, shot, 5-second pause, shot. You look silly doing it, but your accuracy will start to become tighter and tighter and tighter because your groups will be tighter and tighter and tighter. Now mix that with front sight focus. All of a sudden now you are putting them all in the same damn hole. Now who would want to do that? Well, that's the one thing. Yeah, the coin drill. That's all those things like that. Kurt's talking about the coin drill where you put a dime on the actual site itself and get it up in front of you. You could use not only you could use that, you could use a golf tee, upside down golf tee. You could do a nickel, you could do a dime. All those drills are helping you tremendously get that trigger straight back and stop the manipulation. The dry firing is probably one of the biggest aha moments I can give many students is working on that. If you haven't never seen the dime drill, visit my YouTube channel. I did a whole little thing on there on putting why this 10-cent drill, why this 10 cents is going to help your accuracy tremendously. And now that we have the dry fire inserts, it's just easier for you because you can have the full magazine in and get your finger on it and all that stuff like that, and get the trigger back nice and slow. Thank you, Kurt, for reminding me. I appreciate that, Barry. That's number 3. Number 4 is trigger freeze. It's holding the trigger pen for too long. You can shoot too slow, you know that. You can shoot too fast, right? It's Goldilocks, right? Too hot, too cold, just right. I need you to get just right. But how do you know what just right is if you don't know what's too hot or too cold? So Goldilocks went into Bear's house. She wouldn't have known what was good and what was bad unless she tried it. And this is the same thing I need you to do. We talk about learning. We learn from failures. I haven't noticed. No, I wouldn't know. Um, are you talking about my channel, or are you talking about the whole YouTube? Because it's going off YouTube right now. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but well, it'll be what it is. Thank you for letting us know that. Yeah, no issues. That's what I thought. All right, thank you. All right. Trigger freeze. You can hold the gun. You can hold a pin too long. Fix. I had a student one time that all they did was shoot reset. That's when you pull it back, hold it, and let it go. Hold it, let it go. Hold it, let it go. Hold it, let it go. And that reset really slowed her down. And the problem was that as she'd done it so long, that was her natural cadence. And she was just slow. And I told her, hey, we need to speed up. We need to get you a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And we would go and I would kind of give her a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count, We were getting those rounds out. We were trying to do a 5-second count. It took her forever to get there. And the more we're trying to hold, let me explain to you something. You cannot. All right. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate that. We cannot go through the whole thing without. You need to speed through the product, but not too fast that you're missing, if that makes sense. So holding a trigger pin too long during the reset and the recoil cycle is when we want to try to. The drill itself, the reset drill, is one of those things we got to do to understand it, but I don't think you need it as much as you think you do. Because who's bullseye? And anyways, not too many of you. All right. Anticipation, subconsciously, what ends up happening? Yeah, okay. Don't. All right. Thanks, Flying High. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We can't do anything about it right now, so that's part of it. Thanks. So, anticipation or flinching, these are a subconscious press or pull of the weapon before you actually engage the weapon, if that makes sense. Your mind, your body, your control wants to help you control recoil before you actually engage the pistol. So you can't fix recoil. You have to accept it. And you have to work through it, but you can't fight it. You've got to accept it. So this means getting a good control of the pistol, getting a decent grip that's going to allow you to control the pistol through all 5 shots. I think this is the challenge for most students is they begin the cycle of shooting by putting 15 rounds into a 15-round magazine. And then by the time they get to about 5 or 6 or 7 rounds, they are fatigued and they lose their control. And that causes a lot of rest of their shots to be inaccurate as much as possible. And then those are the ones we learn on, if that makes sense. So I think if we kind of subconsciously work on getting a mine and trigger finger melt together with each other to allow it to start your trigger press, not your body start the press. What tends to happen seems silly, and you may not even know you're doing it, But if you want to see it for real time, have your friends go with you, have them put 4 rounds. This is called the ball and dummy drill. Have your friends put 4 rounds in and give you a dummy round somewhere between that fifth round, no matter where they put it, and watch you press the trigger through those 5 shots. Well, when you are controlling the pistol properly, if that gun went click between 3 and 4 because the dummy round was there, your front post would stay level. And if your front post stayed level, you have a subconscious control and mind melt from your pistol to your trigger finger to your brain. But if the gun dips at all during that last little click, then we are flinching or anticipating. So we need to really work on that. So the ball and dummy drill is a great drill for you. It's real inexpensive. Go to the Amazon. I have an Amazon store. There's dummy rounds in there. There's 6-pack of dummy rounds. You can put those dummy rounds, give your buddy one dummy and 4 live, and you guys could go almost an all day playing that game and put the dollar down on the table and bet who's going to win that. You're talking about some pressure involved in that, but it's so much fun because it catches you off guard. You don't think, me being a YouTube guy watching me videotape, and I edit a lot of videos. Well, I don't edit as far as accuracy, but I edit a lot of videos, and I catch myself all the time doing some flinch there that I see on camera. I don't really point it out to everybody, but I don't hide it either, because I don't want you guys to think that I don't think that I don't want you to think I'm a perfect marksman or anything else like that. I struggle just like you guys struggle. It's just our situation. We have to see this stuff. We have to visually see the problems for us to fix them. That's why it's so important, if you haven't yet, get yourself a camera and start videotaping, if they allow it. Start videotaping your hands from behind through the gun. Videotape you. Have your friends videotape you. You'll learn so much about how much recoil you're taking, how little recoil you're taking, how much muzzle flip has happened. One of the things I show most students is, if you're cutting your shots, guys, and you finalize your shot and your weapon is in a downward angle, well, that's where the bullet's going to impact, downward angle. That weapon should never, ever finish down. If you're pushing out in this direction, you're out here, and you cut your shot to your back of your hand, if anything, the firearm should rise and fall. Rise and fall. If you're letting if the weapon is cutting and the post is dropping, well, then we're doing too much backwards push on the firearm. We don't want backwards push. We want control over the pistol. We want to have a levelness and control, and watch that anticipation, because what tends to happen is your brain is trying to help you with recoil management. It's almost like going, "Oh, here it comes!" Oh, and it tries to build you up, right? And that causes a lot of our issues. The ball and drumming drill will work perfectly for you, and that'll help you tremendously. Remember, dry firing in your home is the work. The range is the proof, right? We dry fire enough at home, we get to the range, we got the proof that dry fire works for us and makes us a better shooter and allows us to control the pistol. And it gives us that trigger travel and the trigger drift. Trigger drift is when your finger goes in all the way. You don't want that either. John says, John says, I caught myself on video while sliding forward and saw recoil anticipation from a full battery. It happens, man. It happens, and when you're aware of that, that makes so much difference. Yeah, I saw improvement from dry firing training between Max. Very good, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that 5 live and 5 dead thing, that's a good that right there that'll help a lot, you know. Number 6 is follow through. This is a real challenge for most people. They don't tend to keep the gun in their line of sight. They drop their gun and look up over the pistol to see the impact of their bullets. Well, if that's telling you if you're seeing the impact of your bullets, you're already shooting low because they should not be anywhere except where your sights are pointed. And don't forget, your sights are above your barrel, so they should not be hitting below your barrel. If they're shooting below your barrel, I guarantee you got your head dipped into your chest like this. Can't have you. Two things happen when you dip your head to the gun. You're lowering your shot impact. If you pull the trigger and your front post dips, that causes a lot of it. The gun should be in your line of sight, ladies and gentlemen. The gun actually should be over your dominant eye. Turn your head and weapon, line it up together. That's where the gun should be every time. Over your nose is going to cause a lot of the left stuff happening. But if you're not keeping the weapon level or relaxing after each shot, this causes a lot of gun dippiness and all that stuff like that. We need to see through the pistol, keep the pistol in our line of sight, cut the first shot, find your sights, cut the second shot, find your sights, cut the third shot, find your sights. Each time you do that, the better it's going to be for you. We shouldn't have to look at our backside, our front sight, and our target each time we engage the trigger. We don't need to. Front sight focus is all we need. Front sight focus is keeping that front sight in crystal clear focus. The back sight and the front sight and the target can't be all perfect. If you're focusing on your front sight, your target will be blurry, guys. Your front post will be crystal clear, and your back post is going to be blurry because you can only think of one thing at a time. You can only focus on one thing at a time. So it helps tremendously when you keep a weapon level and look through the pistol. Remember, we don't use our wrist to aim a pistol. We use our waist to aim the pistol. We pivot on the pole, and it makes it so much easier for us to repeat a good shot. When we start putting all of these extra little things involved, like the wrist, too much finger in, not enough grip, shitty stance, all the other stuff we put in there, this causes all this little I told the guys last night, write this down. This is an HTS word. There's going to be a test at the end of the year. Bobulation. And a bobulation is how the post is moving while the gun is moving. Your front sight cannot be bubbling all around and for you to be accurate. So bobulation. Don't ask me how to spell it. You figure that out. All right. So to see your sights lift, this is the thing. We want to make sure your sights are lifting if they're going to lift, not fall. That's the one thing. And you want to make sure you're visually seeing where your sights are when the gun goes off. And we want to put them back in that same position each time. That's why I kind of give you that 6 o'clock hold methodology, because it kind of gives a consistent point of aim. You take weeks 2 Modified base drill, we take the circle with the 4 quadrants and we put that box right underneath the 6 o'clock hole. When you put your gun in that box, your sights will be directly in the center of that target. A lot of people aim the barrel in the center of the target, which in turn puts your sights above center. And this is what our friend asked earlier. Why am my sights high? Because you're aiming in the center of the target, not below the center of the target. Because if you think the bullet doesn't fly in a straight line, it flies in an arc. And it's fighting gravity like we are. So we've got to adjust for it. Even at short distances, yes, because the barrel is below the line of sight. Because if the barrel's here and the sights are here, that bullet will climb as it gets to. When they cross, that's zero. But that's how the manufacturers made the pistol. All right. So the question you do keep in your brain every time: where was my sights when the gun went off? And that's where we need to put it back to. And how do we do that? By consistent point of aim, by 6 o'clock hold. We have to be consistent. If we are consistent, we are in control. And your accuracy will show it. Good question, Phil. But thank you, D. Marshall, for the bobulation. That is the D. Marshall is the official thesaurus in this group, and he has written bobulation, Bobulation, bobulation. Thank you, D. That is your word now, buddy. I have not seen it be that big of a deal, even out to 21 feet. I'm still aiming at that thing. I'm sure we got past a certain point, 25 or 30 yards, it may change a little bit because you probably wouldn't be able to see it because your circles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But I would still think I always use my brain, and I tell all students, Phil, golf ball, golf tee. So it doesn't matter how far we get it out. If I'm golf ball and golf tee, I'm going to have the adjustment the way I need to. I don't shoot 40 yards. I don't shoot 50 yards. We have 33 feet in our range. But I think if I put an 8-inch paper plate out within 3 shots, I would tell you I'd be able to know exactly where 50 would be, if that makes sense, just because we're going to be able to see it. And then we just adjust as we go. I wouldn't, I get the whole idea of practicing at longer distances, but I haven't seen much of. I know when you center hold, it becomes a lot more challenging because you can't actually see your target. That's the one problem. If I gave you center hold at 25 yards, there is no target. It's covered with the gun. And that becomes a challenge for you at that point in time. I think more we can see a consistent point of aim, the more consistent we'll be. Thank you for the question, Phil. I appreciate that. Another one of those things you can challenge yourself to, Phil, and see if where that determination is. I'm sure that some pistols are a little different than others. I'm sure sights are different than others. There's a lot of weird guns coming out nowadays that have the raised sights that are higher because they take a can or they'll take a threaded barrel, and those threaded sights are a lot weirder because they are higher. They're called suppressor sights, so they are higher. But majority of the time, if you got a can on the front of it, you will not be able to see over those if you did not have the raised sights, if that makes sense. So, but I've seen a lot of guns come from the factory with these raised sights on them without ordering a can or without buying a can, and I think those shoot a little higher than what we should. Yes. All right, number 7 is too much trigger finger. What's too much? What's too much is, and I kind of was weird because I had a little girl in last week, and we had her almost she was shooting Glock 19. She loves the Glock 19. Her hands don't fit the Glock 19. I showed her another gun. Her hands went around it, but she didn't like it. She liked the Glock 19. But we had to take her finger and almost put it all the way into the gun just to get her finger to the trigger. But you know what? She shot it well. So I can't say that this is the only way to do it. And I hope you guys take this for what it is. I am a firearms instructor. I have my way. My way is not always your way. There is an opportunity for me to be off and your way works. I'm not it doesn't hurt me that you tell me, well, I do it this way and it works for me. But all I ask you to do is try my way. And if it helps you or makes you a better shooter, then we have to make a change. But if my way makes you a worse shooter and your way makes you a better shooter, then you do you, boo. But understand there's a reason why I'm asking you to do it the way I'm asking you to do it. But I cannot tell you that my way is the only way to do it. If that makes sense. I've trained a lot of students. I wish I could give you a number. I've been doing it since 2014, firearms training, as well as concealed carry classes. I've had my store since 2019, and I know what I put in all my books and all that stuff, over 5,000, but I'm sure it's way over that. I just don't have any way of quantifying it. I mean, I've got sales receipts and stuff like that, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But the store itself, so I've been sent there for 2019. We do 5 classes to 9 classes a week, according to what time of the year it is. And sometimes we're doing, last Saturday I did 7 classes in one day. So I can tell you that it all builds in, it all builds in, it all builds in. Not including all the concealed carry classes and all the other stuff that's out there in the world. So there's a lot of them, I'll tell you that. But again, each student's a little different. I learn from every student. I think that's a lot of my stuff is. I think all of my the HTS, everything, all that stuff is student learned. We give it to a student, we ask him to perform it. Well, Phil, he's a guinea pig. Phil's been with me almost a year and a half. Kurt Richards, a guinea pig. These guys have been with me a long time. Did the HTS before the HTS was they built the HTS. Phil and Kurt. Those guys were here during all that stuff, turning in their targets, shooting their work, doing all that stuff. It's part of that deal. But we put this. I like to say I put this program together, but without Phil and without all the other students that were involved in this thing, the beta group and all the guys like that, I wasn't even sure it was going to work. How was I going to be able to train some guy in Washington State? But this young kid came in, and he was awesome, and we worked every week and did everything. It was kind of cool. That's what I got Phil and all those guys, and Kurt in New Jersey, and it's kind of a hodgepodge bunch of people, but uniquely, they're all got one thing in mind. We're all 2A friendly. We all love to shoot. We all want to get better at shooting, and that's what the school community is all about. The school community is about people just like you wanting to conquer their firearm instead of the firearm conquering you. I ask you this: are you running the pistol, or is the pistol running you? And that's the one thing that most people tend to get carried away and let the stupid thing make him. Okay. Too much finger trigger, too much finger in the trigger. I would recommend staying with the pad as much as possible and stay away from that crease as much as you can. The more you can get the trigger straight back, the more better it's going to be. Watch that video on my YouTube channel in regards to the pen trick where you take a ballpoint pen and you just press it down. And I want you to hold in your hand when you press it down that you can see the bottom of the pen and make sure that it's not moving right or left. And then I want you to do is go ahead and stick your finger further in and hit it with the crease, and you'll watch it start to cut off to this side. Then you know that would do some kind of manipulation to the firearm. We want to try to push that trigger straight back in our hand as best we can. All right. That being said, number 8 is not enough trigger in the finger. Not enough trigger finger. This is the opposite direction. This is causing it to go to the right. This is causing a lot of stuff. So we have to adjust. I feel what happens a lot of times is when I put a gun in someone's hand, you got to make sure that that weapon, that barrel is going down your arm as much as possible. You've got to watch putting the gun at a vice. And you don't even think you're doing it, but if you have the gun tilted just a little bit, it's going to cause a lot of issues. So you almost want to think about barrel, front post, and then run it straight down your arm and make sure it's in your arm, because this can be done even when you lock your wrist out. If I lock my wrist out, I can still move it forward or backwards. And if I'm putting the firearm not in my hand exactly perfect, because everyone's hands is a little different, we want to make sure it's going right down the center and right down the arm. It's going to give us better control. So number 8 was not enough finger in the gun. Number 9 is not having a plan. And I think this is the random shooter. And this is the time and the people come to the range. And what is the purpose of your range time today, sir? And if you have a plan, like most of the guys that are in the HTS system, most of the guys have been doing it for a while, they actually have a 50-round plan. They've got their markers. They've got the drill of the week. They're spending time understanding what has to be done. They're challenging themselves on the one thing that kicks their ass every week. And they try to get better and better and better. I think the more we are physically challenging ourselves and putting ourselves into an accuracy deficit, the better we're going to be in the future. Because identifying what's causing the low and left, or identifying what's causing the high and right, and all that stuff will benefit you in the future as you become, as you travel in your accuracy journey. But there are, I guess I would say that there are common things that cause common shooting mistakes, but there are more than one thing you could be doing could cause it, if that makes sense. If I said all your trigger problems come from the trigger, well, that's not true, right? Because we already said about not enough trigger in, not too much trigger in, not enough grip, too little grip, too much grip. So all these little things add up. I told you guys many times before, shooting's not complicated. It's complex. There's so many little things that cause the effect. And we got to identify the one to the next to the next. And I think what happens to most students is they try to fix it all at one time. And we know that never really goes anywhere really strong. So although I'd love to have each and every one of you getting your ass in the plane and come see me, you do listen, I'll make you this promise. If you come from out of state to see the store, see the range, work with me, it's free class. You don't pay. You don't pay. You come to see me, you don't pay. Now, that being said, I can't give free classes to everybody, but if I know you traveled on a plane, that you found me on YouTube and you're coming to Florida and you schedule something, got no problem for you. I would love to help you. Now, we do our training classes 6 days a week. We have a YouTube channel, which we put a lot of stuff on, but we have our website. And our website, you can book a class through us, if you're within 30 miles of my voice at this point in time, we do classes at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, Monday through Saturday. And those classes are private, but just being me and you. But we do classes all the way till 4 o'clock. Not everyone can get in to see me and get a private class from us. But I think the private classes give us the first one should be private no matter what. Then after that, I think we should be shooting around people. I love to hold your hand and process this and get you comfortable, put it all together. But I think I spoil a lot of people that when they come to the range, because we're not a gun range, we're a training facility. So we don't have craziness in there. We don't have the riffraff. We don't have 50 people waiting for the next lane to open up. That's not us. That's not our deal. That's not what I wanted. I have members. I have a ton of members, and they should be shooting a lot more than they're doing, right? But that's okay. That things happen. People go. That's part of the deal too. But the more we open it up to the community, the more we open up to this, the easier it becomes for everybody. And then I'm not worried about the riffraff because they don't come around. They don't come around, and we don't have to rent. We don't have to make our money through range, if that makes sense. We sell ammo, we do all that stuff, but that's not our range time. Is not our cup of tea, but it's necessity for you. You have to get out and shoot on a regular basis. If you don't, you lose it. That's the key thing. You lose it. And number 10, I think, is speed before control. This is one of the problems most people do is bang, 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 bang. They just shoot. They just shoot. They just shoot. They just shoot without fundamentals. And we don't have any kind of control. You don't have any kind of accuracy. So there's a lot of different systems you can do, but I've mentioned it multiple times. The pause drill really slows you down. The one-shot drill is a great drill. It's one shot. Then you put things down. You identify what you shot at. Remember, the best way to do a one-shot drill, guys, is take the target, turn it backwards to white paper. Then I want you to put it back out at the distance you can conquer. And I want you to put your weapon out in front of you. And I want you to make sure you don't dip your head to the gun. I want you to get it up in your line of sight. I want you to get a good stance, good control, and I want you to get that trigger back nice and slow. And let that shot cut. Boom. Now, if you do one-shot drills, you most likely will be at slide lock. So you put the gun down, you bring the target in, and then I want you to physically look at where you impacted versus where you were aiming. If it's within a fingernail, a thumb, or a $50, then you're okay. But if it's bigger than that, I want you to exit. Then I want you to do it again. And slide not to that spot, a different spot on the paper. Now, if you think you were aiming exactly in your line of sight, I want you to aim just a little higher. Not crazy higher, but look. And I want you to do it again. Then I want you to bring it in and visualize that spot. Is this close to where you were aiming? And if it was, I want you to put a big check mark on it. And I want you to do that through 5 shots. If you have 4 check marks on that paper, congratulations, you're controlling the pistol. If you have 3 or less, you need help. You need to focus. You need to stop pulling the trigger. You need to slow down because most likely you're rushing. That's a good drill. You can spend a good 2, 4, maybe 2 days, 3 days doing that drill. you'll start getting the idea of accuracy, and then you can start speeding it up and go faster and faster and faster because now you're controlling the pistol. Your targets tell you an awful lot if you listen. Your targets will give you visual process if you pay attention. We give you the information if you would listen. We just need to stop all the other noises that are coming from place to place. That HTS master your handgun in 4 weeks. Go back to that. Go back to week 1 when you need to. Go back to week 2. Those 2 weeks are the full foundation. Grip, stance, trigger control, sight pictures, sight alignment. It gives you everything. You can get 5 aha moments in those first 2 weeks. Will change your accuracy forever. I love when people go and they've been shooting for a while and then they hop on the HTS and realize, well, I've been doing that wrong. I've been doing that wrong. My grip's wrong. My stance is wrong. And amazingly, if we just solve one of them, their accuracy goes from. Then they call back and they go, you're amazing. You're incredible. I can't believe I've been doing this forever and a day, and I've never even heard what you're telling me. So, not to brag, but I think I know what I'm doing. Been doing it an awful long time. Trust me on this. The HTS system right here, this thing right here. If you're at home watching this on TV, do not go off this channel without scanning that right there and get that free masterclass. Get that free ebook. We got plenty of ebooks. You join the masterclass and you become a VIP, there are no paywalls. Everything I have is yours. There's no extra little deals. Well, I mean, the loaders and the little dry fire things and the swag. Don't forget the swag. All that stuff like that you pay for. But I'm doing this stuff here for passion. For the 11 people that are here right now. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you seeing it. For the 11 people that were here right now, I do it for you guys. If I were to put a price tag on what this thing costs me a day to keep it going, the hours I spend for something that's free, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I'm touching people and helping them. I'm giving them something. I figure if I give enough, sooner or later you guys will feel guilty enough and want to support me and want to give me the stuff. And that's okay. When it's time, it's time. Everyone makes a difference. Yeah, right here. QR code. Well, I'm because of computer. Yeah, thank you, D. Marshall. Yeah. Yeah, so when you give that stuff away, when you help people, and those people tell other people, how do you think we got 390 people signed up? Yes, it's free. My wife said, well, it's free. That's why they sign up. No, it's not why they sign up. Because they're starving for accuracy. If I had a truck with accuracy truck, big light on there, big bullseye, serving accuracy by the pound, I'd be empty every day. I'd sell out every day. Because there's so much of it out there and none of it makes sense. I got nothing against all the other gurus out there. I know I ain't even call myself a guru. I'm so goofy sometimes. But the deal is, there's so much stuff being fed to us through AI now that when you get a real person that spends a real hour and 15 minutes of his nightly time with his family to do this stuff, to give away, you know? Yeah, D. Marshall signed up because it made sense to him. D. Marshall had been shooting a long time. D. Marshall was one of those shoot till empty, and fast as he could. He started shooting 5 at a time, and what happened to his accuracy? It got better. He got in control. He did everything he needed to do. So tonight wasn't about your gun. It wasn't about your sights. It wasn't about your ammo. It was about the small mistakes you don't see. The grip tension, the trigger press, the anticipation, the follow through, the accuracy challenges. Accuracy isn't a magic, it's mechanics. The shooter who improves aren't the ones who shoot the most rounds. They're the ones who fix the right things and they ask the real questions. So I ask you this: are you going to keep guessing at the range, or are you going to train with some intentions? If you saw yourself in 2 or 3 of these mistakes tonight, that's not a failure. That's awareness. And awareness is a step towards accuracy. Anytime this week you'd like to, drop me a picture of your target and I will help you audit it and see what I can do to support you. As I said before, the QR code that's upstairs there will get you into the masterclass, which gives you a 4-week masterclass that helps you master your handgun in 4 weeks. Not only you get the class itself, you get the ebook, which comes with the masterclass, and you get all of the videos when I talk about dominant eye, or I talk about positive grip, or I talk about 6 o'clock hold. All of those videos are attached to the class itself. In the HTS, there are handgun drills, techniques. The master class, a free group, gets 1 class, 1 target a month. The premium group gets, the premium group gets one target a month. The VIPs get 4 targets a month, 4 training tips, 4 drills, 4 everything, and you get that exclusive access to me as well. So you make that decision where you want to be. What I want you to do, if you're ready to structure yourself correctly, you can join the masterclass. Stop blaming the gun and start building your accuracy once and for all. So I'm going to go back up and say thank you to some people who were on here this evening and answer any questions that I missed this evening. All right, John Darby, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here, sir. As always, you're the best. All right. Tuesday night. Guppy, thank you. D. Marshall, Phil, thank you. B and Bandit Blitz, thank you. Smart man, thank you. Appreciate that very much. B-Rat, thank you. Bruce Cook, thank you, sir. Jessica Brown, as always. You're the best. Kurt Richards, you know what I think about you, my friend. You were awesome. Thank you, thank you. James Russell, Buzz. Thank you, James. James is a good guy. He's our number 1 kicker on the. He's doing a lot with the HTS. Thank you, James. Appreciate you being there, Mr. Kurt. Always, sir. Thank you. Flying High Sounds. Thank you. John Darby. Boom, 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 boom. Dum, 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 dum. All right, don't forget, next week is Q&A week. You're going to come with questions. You are going to come with problems you're having, and we're going to try to answer them for you. I appreciate you very much. One last thing, I'm going to put up the QR code for the insert, which is right here. That's a new QR code. You want to pick one of those up? They're right there. You can scan that with your phone. This QR code, HTS firearm bullet insert, it goes into any Poplar 9mm magazine and prevents it from going to slide lock, which allows you to dry fire with a full magazine in, a full empty magazine in, I should say. You know, people are full magazine in, and it will allow you to go to dry. You'll able to rack the slide without going to slide lock. There are videos on our YouTube channel that you can watch and see how it works. It works out perfectly. You get for $9.99. You get 3 of them. Not that you need 3 of them, but you know they are pretty durable and pretty hard. But you got metal going against metal. Sometimes things happen, so we give you 3 of them for $9.99. They're made in the U.S., made with U.S. filament, and they are made by me. And I appreciate you guys picking them up. We've sold over 125 of them so far, and thank you very much for that support. That means an awful lot to me. That means you believe in something that I have, and it makes me feel good. Thank you. Thank you. Not only are you supporting me, but you're supporting my family, and I appreciate that very much. Don't forget about the HTS Handgun Training System member T-shirts. Those swags for $24.95. You can pick up a shirt. It's on the HTS system, or it's on the YouTube. It's on the HTS website as well, which is in the links down below. So we appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you very much. We had almost 24 people at one time tonight, which is a big number for us. Thank you. God willing, next week, same time, same place. God bless. Bye-bye.